Hello and welcome in, friends, to Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day and welcome in to the Draft Lottery 2020. It is such a great time. It is a celebration because your Chicago Bulls have a chance to get the number one draft pick, and we are doing a watch along to the great show. So you can see in just a little bit, we will have it right up there where you can see the Game of Thrones banner for House Stark. Thank you guys so much for making us a part of your day. Make sure you're following us all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media, and we have the show to be interactive with on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. So we are doing a recording here in the studio. We're not doing this live. Figured there's a lot of things going on, and we can always just sit back, relax, and we can have a nice time just seeing what's going to happen. But here we are, the NBA Draft Lottery. Interesting times for the Chicago Bulls. There's a good chance that they end up with the number 7 to number 8 draft pick. There's a stat that I'm going to bring up to you in just 1 second that was on Twitter about the percentage that the Chicago Bulls and where they will end up in the draft lottery. I will pull that up for you guys in 1 second. So, as of today, here are the percentages of where they will land. For all of you who would love to see them at the number 1 draft pick, you are looking at a 7.5% chance of the Chicago Bulls that those lottery balls find their way to Chicago. A 7.5% chance, 7.8 for the number 2, and for a number 3, an 8.1 draft pick. The dreaded number 7 draft pick for the Chicago Bulls, a 19.7% chance of that occurring for the beloved over on the west side. But it looks like the number 8 draft pick with 34.1% has the highest probability of ending up where the Bulls find a draft pick. And if we look at it right here, and I will pull it up in 1 second, let us look up the NBA draft prospects for 2020. And ESPN is doing a great job, obviously, with the draft cast, and there's a few names that we all kind of know, especially like the Melo brother, who seems to be the LaMelo Ball, seems to be the favorite when it comes to a top 3 draft pick. But we're talking about Anthony Edwards. It seems like from Georgia. He's a shooting guard, 6'3", 225 pounds. That's a big guy. That'd be interesting. They have him at number 1. LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, Devin Adveja, Avdija. I'm not too sure how to say it, but there's one of your players. He's from Israel. He's a small forward. They have Onika Okanawa from USC. Definitely butchering the name, a center. But if you're looking at for the Chicago Bulls where they would be at number, let's say 7 or 8, ESPN has like Isaac Okoro from Auburn, a small forward. They even have Tyrese Haliburton from Iowa State, a point guard. I don't think the Bulls are going to go point guard in that manner, but we are about 7 minutes away, about 8 minutes away from finding out who will be the number 1 pick in the draft when it comes to selections. And let's talk a little bit about the Chicago Bulls and them moving forward. This is going to be a Bulls-centric podcast just because obviously here in the city of Chicago. I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing moving forward with this roster. If you look at the Chicago Bulls roster, and I'll go ahead and pull it up right now for us so that we can really take a look for the next few minutes to see where they're at and what possibly they could do moving forward. I still believe we heard AK say in one of his quotes that he wants to bring in not just 1, but maybe 2 free agents. And that would be really interesting to see whether or not that they're able to pull that off and who would be on their radar. So let's look at Chicago Bulls roster 2020, the Google machine. We'll go to Basketball Reference. And let's just look at this. Kobe White. We got Satoransky, Thaddeus Young, Zach LaVine, Arcidiacono, Chris Dunn, Larry Marketing, Wendell Carter, Daniel Gafford, Shaquille Harrison, Denzel Valentine, who really didn't play a lot with Jim Boylen on their leadership, Luke Cornett, who played a lot because of Jim Boylen, Chandler Hutchinson, Cristiano Felicio, Otto Porter, who has a big contract, Adam Mokoka, which really didn't play a lot, and Max Strauss. So if you're looking at the roster, and I want to see how contracts look moving forward for these guys, and I'm not too sure how I could see it. I don't see it here. how many years on their contract they would have. But yeah, I want to just do it just to see who would be coming off of the free agency if. Yeah, I don't see it, but I think when you look at that roster, you really like some pieces, right? But who do you love on the Chicago Bulls roster? Who on this roster do you sit there and you say they can't do anything without them? That they need for them to be on this roster? Like, can you win without Zach LaVine? Yeah. Can you build your future without Lauri Markkanen? Yeah. Who on this roster is untouchable? I think Coby White is obviously the only one that you haven't gotten to see anything of in his rookie season. He didn't even get to finish the rookie season. We didn't get to see if the development, if he hit a wall, what that was going to look like, what the potential of the sophomore season was going to look at. Satoransky was a disappointment when it comes to his first season here, I think. There was a lot of hype coming into his free agent signing. Zach LaVine, I think around the league, people like his talent. Everybody knows that it's in him. Like, he's immensely talented. I just don't know if he's the staple that leads your team into a championship. And what does that mean? You know, I'll go ahead and turn this off for all of you watching this right now if you guys don't want to see commercials. What does that all mean? You know, if you can't put it together, if you can't make a superstar out of your teammates, how great are you? I always make this argument about DeMar DeRozan. You know, you look at DeMar DeRozan, who was a very talented player over in Toronto for so long, was kind of the face of their franchise for so long. And then that move happened with San Antonio, and then you see what Kawhi Leonard did. Now look at what Kawhi Leonard has done, not just by winning a championship, not just by making Kyle Lowry look good or Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam. Like, he made them really good, but he changed the culture of that organization. Since he's been gone, you can tell that there's been a lasting impact from what Kawhi Leonard did. And now we're at a point as a Bulls fan, with a 7.5% chance, of winning this lottery, to maybe entice somebody that would be the player that makes Zach LaVine better. And what I mean by that is, after saying all that, who has Zach LaVine made better? Has Lauri Markkanen taken a step forward? Wendell Carter taken a step forward? Like, we've seen a lot of Zach LaVine. We know he could score. Well, that only goes so far in the NBA when it comes to winning championships. I've been saying it for so long. Number 7 is the toughest championship to win in Chicago. Not the next one after the 85 Bears. Not the next one after the Cubs finally winning one after 106. After 108 years, not one after the 2005 White Sox. It's the first title post Michael Jordan. And you get there by being friendly in the league to players. How do you do that? You have to entice somebody to come into your organization. And the big thing is, you don't have a head coach right now going into this draft lottery. So you have to, if you find a way, if somehow the Bulls end up with the top 3 draft pick, and the opportunity to have a fresh start with a coach that has some connections with some free agent somewhere, or you're able to make yourself kind of look like a very nice destination place to, let's say, somebody like Anthony Davis. This is where it starts. This is how you build that energy. This is how you get yourself closer to number 7. That should be the goal for the Chicago Bulls. Not selling out at the United Center, not being top in the attendance and merchandise and TV deals. That all comes with the chase for number 7. Now, is the player in this draft that player to take you to the next step, the next LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Giannis, Joel Embiid? No, I don't think so. It doesn't matter. Beggars don't get to be choosers. Yeah, let's say you do get the number 1 draft pick this year. Yeah, it's not Zion or John Morant. Sure. But that doesn't mean anything. When you're in a position of, like, let's say the Bulls, the Pistons, the Knicks, you need as many players, as many chips on the table to make yourself better and in a more positive light around the league. You don't get to say, well, of course we get the number 1 draft pick this year. It doesn't even matter. It always matters. It always matters to be the number 1 draft pick. So it's very funny that a lot of people are saying this is a weak draft class. It's only a weak draft class if you pick poorly and if you don't take advantage of it. Now, of course, it's easier said than done. There's contracts. I know everybody wants to play NBA 2K and say, let's make this move after you make this pick, and you should be right there. But let's be honest, it's not more complicated than they like to make it seem it is. Make yourself a place players want to go to. And here's the thing. It's not just about your market anymore. Superstars could be superstars anywhere. Guess what? There's internet everywhere. So they could promote themselves. From Minnesota to South Beach, New York to LA, Chicago to Houston. It does not matter. What matters is, can you give them enough money and can you give them supporting help? And let's go ahead and we'll bring up the stream itself for ESPN, the one and only, the awesome Rachel Nichols.
This is, of course, a weighted lottery based on how teams finish the regular
and
season.
we'll listen her to explain it for us.
They all have a 14% chance at the top pick. Atlanta, 12.5%. And then here's everyone else. And remember, this is the board the Pelicans were sitting on last year.
You can see everybody that they have
came
out there
into
right
the
now.
night with only a 6% chance. Left it with
So we
the
see a
right
7.5% chance for the
Sign
Chicago
Williamson.
Bulls.
Something like that
Who's on the
happened
screen?
again
We got
tonight.
Steph,
Well, the folks you're
Fred
seeing on your screen
Dougherty,
sure hope so.
D'Angelo.
Representatives from each of the 14 lottery teams joining us virtually.
So I have it on the big screen. I just turned it off right now because it's a little bit ahead. But we are going to get to see it. Here we go. All right, my friends.
Chief Operating Officer Mark Tatum.
Thank you, Rachel. Good luck, everyone.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
Number 14 will be made by
At number 14. Come on, guy.
the
Boston Celtics at 14. A nice
All right,
pick.
so as
Deep
expected,
team.
Memphis'
Tatum,
pick
Brown
goes to
already.
Boston due to previous trade conditions.
Oh,
The 13th pick goes to the New Orleans Pelicans.
the Pelicans getting number 13. Some help from Zion. They fired their coach.
The 12th pick in the draft
looks mad.
belongs to
The Bulls. The Kings.
Sacramento
Thank God.
Kings.
All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here.
picking 11th is
Just no Red Bull horns. The
the
San Antonio Spurs. All
All
right.
right, so no surprises yet. Picks still going according to form.
All right, so we know everything's according to where it's supposed to. We'll see.
Pick number 10 will be made by
The Phoenix
the
Suns.
Phoenix Suns.
Okay, here we go. At number 9.
The 9th pick belongs to the Washington
Okay,
Wizards.
Washington at 9. Okay. I'm getting nervous. All right, here we go. This is where we think the Bulls were going to be at.
Picking 8th is the New York Knicks.
Oh, my.
Right, we have a double jump. That means that both Charlotte and Chicago
Oh.
jumped into the top 4.
Top 4
New
pick
York
for the
did
Bulls.
second place.
AK. Oh, the Knicks got
The 7th
screwed
pick in the
again.
draft belongs to the Detroit Pistons.
Detroit. Oh, wow. Here we go.
Pick number 6 goes to
My phone is blowing up right now.
the Atlanta Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks at number 6. Okay. At
And the
number
5th pick will be
5.
made by
The Bulls got a top 4 draft
the
pick.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, my gosh. Cleveland at number 5. Here we go.
All right, so that means that we have
The
in
Chicago
top,
Bulls.
The Chicago Bulls just got rid of Coach Jim Boylan. They'd love to pair.
That's
a
AK
fresh, young
himself,
talent
Arturas
with Zach
Karnisovas,
LaVine.
the
Charlotte
new
Hornets.
executive
You know,
vice
this is the
president
first
of
time they've
operations
improved their
over for
three-lottery
the Chicago
position
Bulls.
since 1992.
Wow,
They
it
elected
is some
tonight
crazy times, and we are
Karl-Anthony
seeing the
Towns
teams.
and their lottery rep
So we
today,
have
Mr.
what? The
D'Angelo
Hornets.
Russell. I know that
We
they
have
certainly
the
welcome a new young
Wolves, the
starter joining
Bulls.
their roster.
Who's the
And
last one?
Steph
And the
Curry still with
Warriors.
us, Steph. You're in that
Wow.
top group.
Some
We
top
will
tier
see
teams.
If you get the number 1 spot.
So
Stay with us. Number 1.
So we're
reveal
going
right
ahead
after
and
this.
they're taking a break right now. We'll go ahead and mute it. So some big news, guys. A top 4 draft pick for the Chicago Bulls as of right now. We are a little bit of delayed on the main channel. We are watching the stream as of this moment. So my phone is blowing up. I put that to the side. Let's talk about this a little bit. The Bulls now have a top 4 draft pick in this draft. If somehow they find a way to sneak into the top 3, and the opportunity to hire a brand new coach have a chance to talk to a bunch of different teams while they're doing this coaching process, see how other organizations work. This is a golden opportunity if it works out for the Chicago Bulls. Now, it's exciting, but we also have to take a moment. We've never seen these guys make any draft picks. If you're enjoying that Denver versus Utah series, you should be kind of excited about this. Internationally, there's a lot of players in this draft, so we know the Bulls are going to have somebody of talent. And all that matters at this point, even if they only end up at number 4, it's all about having talent, having chips at the table, making yourself desirable. And this movie looks really good. Now, what does that mean if they do end up with the number 1 pick? It means almost everything is on the table. Think about it. Ride with me for a second. All of a sudden, you have the number 1 pick. There's nobody on that team that's untouchable. Now, all of a sudden, you have 2 options you go with amongst many other ones, but let's just go with the 2 very obvious answers, right? You trade the number 1 draft pick for somebody who disgruntled on a team that's worried about a disgruntled superstar. You bring him in, sign and trade, get him to a long-term extension, and that's how you jumpstart this. Or you trade around that number 1 draft pick, try to bring in somebody through free agency in 2021, and this is the first step in that process. A lot of different ways this can go. Now, I'm not married to any one of them in particular. I'm okay with any of these things happening. Specifically, I would like for them not obviously to get the number 1 draft pick, but I would just like for them to have that option. And I'm just making sure that we're able to jump right back in there. I would like for them to just have the option and to see what they do with it. Because right now, Eversley and AK are their feet are on the fire right now. What's crazy is they have a lot of goodwill, even though me being one of them was worried that they were taking too long when it came to firing Jim Boylan. But to give them credit, they wanted to do it to save face around the league, and they have to really massage that relationship people have with the Bulls and how they treat NBA coaches, right? But now we get to see it. They get to make the big pick. It's a huge one. And they get to make the big hire first time around. So it can really jumpstart not only their career, but what is this new clock for championship number 7. And the fact that the ping pong balls fell in your direction, it doesn't always happen. The Bulls have gotten lucky a few times. But again, I don't know if you're getting Derrick Rose in this draft, but it never hurts to have more opportunities at talent and to add talent to your roster. They are milking this one, aren't they, kids? Thank you guys for joining us on this video. We are doing this as a pre-recorded. This is not live, but you can watch the video on YouTube at Mercado Airwaves. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram Mike Mercado Media, and the show is at Couch Sports Talk. Let's get back to it.
Welcome back, LeBron James.
Oh, these playoffs have been awesome, too. We're leading into Trailblazers versus Lakers Game 2. Game time. Here we go. Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, Charlotte Hornets, Chicago Bulls. One of these teams will get the number 1 draft pick. Here we go. Just don't see the bull right now.
Thanks again, Rachel.
Even if that's the case. Let's just hope, right? If we can get it.
NBA draft goes to
the Chicago Bulls. All right, the Bulls with the number 4 draft pick. So they moved on. Let's see who goes to number 1. The Charlotte Hornets. Okay. The number 1 overall draft pick will go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Will get the number 1 draft pick. Wow. So we have it. It is a thing.
D'Angelo Russell, you just got to Minnesota a few months
and
ago.
the phone is going up. Wow.
What do you think it will be like if
so very interesting. We have it, folks. That is the knowledge that we have now. The Chicago Bulls will end up with the number 4 draft pick. We'll go ahead and close that out. So obviously, so much better than we thought it was going to end up. When you get the opportunity or you're releasing the hunts for the number 1 draft pick, it's always a little disappointing if you don't end up in number 1 or number 2. But all that being said, the Bulls with the number 4 draft pick in the first round this year, super important. It's just more. It's hard for me to try to make this really great analytic thing, but it's that simple. It's just more pieces at it. They get more tries at this. They get more talent. You get to add something to this roster. You have another opportunity to do something. You could be creative with this number 4 draft pick. And here's the thing. If a team doesn't love a player or a team wants something from your roster, this is now an enticing little hook that you could put out there. It's some bait for a team out there. Now, I'm not too sure. It's still early in the process. We don't know how this process is going to work out during COVID-19. But we'll see who they decide to bring in to work out. They're going to bring in all of them. We know that. We know they're going to bring in anybody who's a top 5 pick. I don't think they'll be trading up. Maybe we might, maybe a little bit, but I don't see that happening. If you're asking me right now, I think they keep the pick this very early on, but it could be anybody at this point. I mean, it could be James Wiseman. It could be LaMelo. I mean, you're just looking at it right now, but there's a lot of different guys, and I'm super excited. I think this is the best. What's interesting about it is what we mentioned when we found out they were going to be off of pick 8 and 7. They would be a top 4 pick. Now we get to see them make a really important decision beyond just who's the head coach of the Chicago Bulls team. Now they get to make a big boy top 5 draft pick. And I'm just looking right here at Sporting News. Just some of the guys they have. Obi Toppin from Dayton at number 1. Anthony Edwards at number 2. James Wiseman at 3. LaMelo Ball at 4. So there is an opportunity that the Bulls get somebody really, really good. I would love if Anthony Edwards finds a way to drop at number 4. And that's the guy who I've really wanted, a 6'5 guard. Very intriguing. Just more height, more size, more length on this team. Give him more offensive options. But it's a very nice pick. Not the greatest, but way better off than where the Bulls probably should have had any business being. And it's honestly some good news for this Bulls team because beyond obviously moving forward without Gar Forman and John Paxson, now you have AK and Eversley, you fired Jim Boylan. All that was nice. But this is something Bulls fans can actually hold on to right now. There's a lot of the roster to like. It's easy. Lauri Markkanen has a lot of potential. Wendell Carter looks like a pro. He's going to be in the league for 12 years. Zach LaVine is obviously at moments has glimpses of being an all-star. Kobe White has a lot of raw talent. There's a lot to like on this Bulls team. But this is the first time because of a disenfranchised fan base has something to hold on to. And that's the number 4 overall draft pick. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm super excited. We're going to break this down. We're going to talk to some experts. The Chicago Bulls have the number 4 overall draft pick in the 2020 NBA draft. We've been here live here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves doing a live reaction. We'll have more on the podcast network. But that'll do it for us, guys. Thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts of the Bulls getting the 4th draft pick. Where do you think they're going to go? Do you think they're going to trade it? Do you think they use it? Who do they go with? What do you think about the roster? Is there any trades that intrigue you that might make sense? Not just NBA 2K sense, but actually make sense in real life. Let me know. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. The show is on Twitter itself at Couch Sports Talk. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. We have swag, teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves, and become a producer of the network at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Enjoy the games. Thank you all so much. Take care of each other. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.